Hello everyone. It is the final match day of the season. Inter are going to face against Manchester City, and we have got our usual suspects. We have got Marco here, who has been always an Inter fan, based in Italy, and we have got Karan, who is a Manchester United fan and not a City fan. So yeah, we might be a bit of a biased panel, but we will try to keep it as unbiased as possible because on paper, although Manchester City seem the favorites to win this, the fact is that the spread that Inter Milan have shown throughout the tournament, anything could happen. Marco, I'll come to you here, man. What are your thoughts, and do you think Inter can pull off the miracle?
Well, I think we are the underdog today. So it's, in a way, it's my favorite position. Like we have nothing to lose, and we can play, we can have fun, we can chop some legs, and we will just fight. We will just fight. It will be very difficult. When Manchester City has a good day, it doesn't matter. The last semi-final, they do 4-0 to Real Madrid, so they can beat anybody. But sometimes they even lose with teams that are much worse than them because there is a spirit that counts, not only millions and good players. So we are the underdogs. We are expected to lose, so we can have fun, and whatever comes is fine.
Well, Karan, Marco says that Inter start as the underdogs, and rightly, I also think that might be the case. But how important do you think the first goal is going to be? Because as we have seen, when Manchester City once they score the first goal, there is very little room for the other team to strike back. But for Inter, it could give them that certain confidence to actually get something in this match because for me, it feels all about the first goal. But Karan bhai, what are your thoughts on this, on it, and how important do you think the first goal is going to be?
I think first goal will be crucial in terms of how long or how further can you take the match. I mean, Inter, the more the number of minutes we go goalless, the more are the chances of Inter to win it. I mean, that's my understanding of game because when things are not in City's favor, their DNA is not as solid as some of the European teams that comes with the history. So you see, they'll crumble in tough situations, and that is why I feel that if Inter can take the game deeper, if they can do that, because it's an Italian team, that they can defend, and if they take the game deeper, they are in for the title, I'm sure.
If I can add something,
Fair enough.
I think more important than the first goal will be the second goal. Let's say that it's a 90% chance that City will score the first goal. But if Inter scores 1-1, then things are complicated for City. But if City scores 2-0, then it's impossible for us to go back at them. So I think the second goal will be also very important. But it's just my opinion. We'll see.
What if we run 0-0 90 minutes?
I do agree with Marco here. I do agree with Marco here, and I'll come back to you here on this. So Italian teams have been, known for their defense, and Manchester City, we know how amazing their attack is with Haaland and players like Alvarez in the background. Usually, players like Mahrez and Bernardo Silva, like they've fought in, they've got all the attackers in the world. So, how important do you think Bastoni is going to be in this match, especially dealing against the threat of the one of the of maybe the best striker in the world at this point, Erling Haaland?
Yes, I think we need individual performance from every one of our defenders. But I also think that for us in Italy, it's very clear that you can have the best defender in the world, but it's not enough if we don't have a good system. When Italy won the World Cup in 2006, Cannavaro was Ballon d'Or. He was the gold ball winner, the FIFA award winner, because we had the best defense and everything. But he wouldn't be able to be such a good defender without a good midfield and everybody helping. So the point is that everybody needs to help each other. If we start playing as individuals, we already lost. We learned in this season to learn to play as a team, and we learn to help each other, and this will be very crucial because, like you said, you started the list of incredible names. You know, you put Haaland, Mahrez, Gundogan, and you go on and on and on. I think Manchester City has 2 or 3 teams that are better than Inter, with the bench and the bench of the bench. But there is, like I said before, spirit is very important, and having no fear. And I hope it will not be a nervous match with yellow cards, and then everything is a little bit more complicated. But if we can hold on to nervosism, we do defend good. And the goal is only one, and so they have to go that way. There's no other way.
So yeah, because out of 6 knockout games, Inter have had a clean sheet in 5 of them.
Yes.
This Champions League. So they have a good defense.
I agree. So, Karan bhai, talking to you, coming to you on this. So, Gundogan, a name which Marco just said, and I know it came to my light because you saw against Manchester United. Of course, I know it must have hurt, and we have seen how amazing he has been, especially in the latter half of the season. Do you think, how do you think a team like Inter, goes up against when they are put up against a threat like that? How do you think they tackle that? And do you think that Gundogan could again be the difference maker in this match?
So here is an interesting thing that I was, when I was looking at the tactics of both the managers, I feel both starts with back 3. Inter and City both starts with back 3. City have not faced any team in EPL, at least my knowledge, who starts with back 3. I think apart from even now, Chelsea won't start that because Tuchel. I mean, when Tuchel was in Chelsea, we used to do that. Start with back 3. That's why Pep had a hard time playing against Chelsea. You remember the final he lost 2 years back. So City will have a tough time with with an opponent who is playing back 3 because they will have double pivot just like them, who will have equal number of players battling the midfield. And second, Gundogan, you talked to me about. So it not depend on Gundogan. It depends on how forwards of Inter can hold John Stones and Rodri. It's about not letting Gundogan, get the ball, because John Stones is creating ruckus in the midfield. We have seen against Madrid. He is like one of the something that he's there and you can't see him, in terms of performing, in terms of assist and everything. But if you look at the stats, if you look at the numbers, he's providing the key passes and XG chain build-up. He is up there in, with De Bruyne, I would say, just below him, I would say. So stop him. 2 forwards you have. If Lukaku is playing, good. I think Lukaku should play so that he can be physical against Stones. You don't need Zeko who can't match the pace. You need Lukaku who is be physical, and Stone's weakness, he can't bear the wide-shouldered strikers because he's. That is where you can stop Gundogan, I think.
I was reading the news right before we go live, and it appears that Zeko will start, because I think that, like you said, Karan, Inzaghi hopes to carry the match 0-0 until second half, and then if you put Lukaku when the others start to be tired, Lukaku can be deadly, and he's also very good in case of penalties, so it's good to take him until the end. Because even in a game when Manchester City will attack for most of the match, the 2 forwards of Inter will run a lot without the ball, trying to pressure so it will be a very tiring thing. Another little correction, if I can do it, Karan, I don't think we will play with 3 defenders. I think today we play with 5. Because I think that Dumfries and Marco will stay very much back. So
but you have 3 centre backs.
Yeah, we have 3 centre backs. Yes.
But I do get Marco's joke over that. But Marco, coming to here, like a player who I've really talked about with you a lot, and a player who I personally really like is Nicola Barella. Now I ask you that tonight is tonight the night when he comes of age on the club stage, and can he boss the midfield when when the opposition team has players like Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne?
Barella is having an amazing end of season. He's in great
Hmm.
shape and
Right.
psychological and physical. He's having he played a super National Cup final. He played great matches against Milan. He played very good in the last matches of the championship. So he's in a great shape, and he is our captain on the field. Like of course Lautaro, but he's a very charismatic figure on our midfield, and we depend a lot on him and Brozovic. It's gonna be everybody have like I see on the Italian news a lot of interviews to football players and experts, and everybody's saying like everybody, if Inter wants to have a chance, everybody must play a great game. And also Dzeko, I think he will be useful because when we have the ball, those few minutes that we will have the ball tonight, Dzeko needs to keep it, and and he's great at it. So it's very stressful for me to talk about this, but if everything goes fine, we have a chance.
So talking
If
about stressful,
no, carry on,
yeah,
carry on.
I do agree that Inter does have a chance that way. But Karan bhai, I'll come to you here. So you recently must have seen the match, the FA Cup final between
Yes.
Man City and United. So since you have watched Manchester City in recency, what do you think are the factors that Inter need to be wary of the most, and how do you think Inter can tackle them?
Uh, See, what I saw on finals was Haaland was not playing his usual game because
Hmm.
he was dropping back, and that's not usual for forward like Haaland to do it. So they'll have to be very aware of Haaland making those drops, because when he does that, he opens up space for the wingers to come over. And if a Bernardo starts on the right, of course I think he will do that. Bernardo and on the left flank, I think you'll have Grealish, of course. So if you can't catch Haaland, I mean, if you can't stop Haaland, then it will be a nightmare for the Inter, because it's just not about him scoring the goals, but it's also about something they have called. I think I was reading an article in one of the places. It's called the Haaland drop. So they have analyzed the entire game against United that Haaland played, and it was in the Athletic, where they talk about how Haaland drop created space for others to flourish, so that he attracts the defenders. Whenever you try to play highline for a counter, you have to be very careful. You see, both the goals were not so clinical, both of them. City did not actually threaten United the way we were expecting. So
Absolutely. Hmm.
if we were not good enough, of course it was because of some of the small mistakes we did, which in a place like final it has no place for, frankly. So Inter won't be committing those mistakes for sure. They have a mature bunch of players, and if they don't do commit such mistakes, it's not invincible. I mean, Pep and City are not invincible. So it's something Marco can look to the highlights of United's game and see where things go wrong, because even United attacked.
Hmm.
United created many chances than we expected. So what I think is Inter can play their natural game without thinking that it's City or something, or Napoli or something. Just play the natural game, with a high intensity. And if City thinks that, oh wow, it's something we didn't expect, we didn't like the way Inter started against AC Milan. You remember the game when they scored, like they were in a full aggressive mode in the first
Right.
leg. You saw they were going all guns blazing. It was
Two
the
really
time
quick
when,
goals.
yeah, I mean, you can do that against City as well. Catch them off guard. They were thinking that we are going on the pitch and we'll rule the ball. Just don't let them do that. Let's see for 10 minutes what they're doing. They go crazy, and they might just lose their heads, and the
Even
strategies might
Marco
just fall.
wasn't expecting them to go like that in the first leg.
Yeah.
It would be nice. It would be nice. But it's true. It's true. If City has a weakness, is the defense. If you let them keep the ball and if you let them attack, you're not a problem for them. The only way to be a problem for them is to attack them, to try to keep the ball. And I think in the end, Manchester United had 45% ball control in the FA Cup final. So
Yeah.
I think it was, considering Guardiola, it was an astonishing achievement. And Ten Hag, of course, is a coach who likes to have the ball. So Inzaghi a little bit less. But I mean, this season we beat Barca, we beat Milan, we even beat Napoli in the National League. So we know how to attack. This is for sure. And we have Dzeko, Lautaro, and Lukaku. They are three forwards in a great shape. So I don't think that City. This is what I'm trying to say. That City, they must be the favorites. But they also know it, that if they don't win this time, it's like a big chance. They're not playing against Messi, they're not playing against Mbappe, they're not playing against Real Madrid. They have but this also brings a lot of responsibility, and the ball feels heavier. And to us, it's just run and kick, and we'll see what happens.
Some years ago when Chelsea played City, even City were the favorites that time around, and I think Chelsea had Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, players who have often been criticized for their finishing, and like for someone but yeah, Chelsea prevailed. So like talking about Inter, like we have talked about this before, that Lautaro down the years have been kind of blamed for not finishing those chances that he should be. But this season, he has proved his doubters wrong very much. And do you think the Inter talisman comes of age tonight and does the incredible, Marco?
Yes, I think that Lautaro has shown in the past that he has no fear. He doesn't care who he's playing against. He always he has this incredible ability to defend the ball and to carry the team on his shoulders. And this year he had. I think it's a beautiful story with Lautaro in Inter, because we took him super young. We gave him immediately number 10, which is a heavy jersey. And in the first years, he made some mistakes. He didn't show up in some games, like he was playing, but it didn't look like he was on the field.
Yeah.
And this year it happened maybe once or twice, but other than that, he was always there. Even when he didn't score, even when he didn't play very well, he was always there. So he's very present, just like Barella. We have this kind of players that I think City is missing. This is something that they would like to have. These charismatic and heavy players on the field, not just phenomenal players, which is what we miss.
Expensive?
Expensive, yes. As I was telling you, Karan, I read this article, and just Jack Grealish from Manchester City, he was bought, I think, 115 million euros. And this is more than the starting 11 of Inter altogether. So
talking about Jack Grealish, Marco, I'll stay with you here and ask you this: that do you think Denzel Dumfries can deal with the prospect? Because Grealish, I know he hasn't scored a lot of goals, but he has been very creative, and he has been a orchestrator in a lot of Manchester City's attack. So, do you think that Denzel Dumfries can deal with the threat tonight?
Well, I think that will be the key position for us. Dumfries sometimes is not as good defender as on the other side we have. Di Marco and Bastoni on the left side, they can take care of Mahrez or Bernardo Silva or whoever comes there. But Dumfries and I don't know if Darmian, maybe Skriniar also have a chance to play. It will be more difficult for them. So I think the Grealish will be a troublemaker for us. I cannot tell you how this will end. But I think it will be key.
Fair enough. Karan, I'll come to you on.
Who's the midfield, do you think? Sorry. Midfield.
No worries.
Midfield in Inter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Çalhanoğlu, Brozovic, Barella.
No Mkhitaryan?
He's not in good shape.
I was going to ask the same question.
Yeah. Maybe he will come in later. He was training this week, but always separate from the rest of the team. So I don't think he has 90 minutes or more.
Fair
Okay.
enough. So, Karan, you talked about Lukaku at the start of the stream. So, what I would like to ask you is that suppose if, like, as Marco is saying, Zeko starts, right? So, and the score is say 1-1 or like the score is tied. Do you think Lukaku, if he comes on in the second half, can be that impact player, be that one player who, etches his name like because I know he has a lot to play for since, he has been maligned after his time at Chelsea. So, do you think tonight is the night when Romelu Lukaku could really pave his way into the history books?
Yeah, I mean, if he scores tonight, he'll be knocking Chelsea's door. Trust me. That hey, I am here, and you're looking for a forward in the market. Then you have to look in your backyard as well. So he has a point to prove, and he has that caliber or that experience of big games as compared to Haaland, I would say. So he can be a troublemaker for City, and especially given his physicality and even his I would say clinic. I mean physicality, and he's also clinical. In goals, in close encounters. Making those small 1-2 passes and running and then just getting a corner. Head on the corner and everything like that. He can be that game changer. But you'll have to see how the game holds for by the time he comes. Is it if it's too dead to do something, then it makes no sense for him to to do something like that unless he actually makes it his night tonight. But if we hold, I'm really hoping that you know Inter holds City for an hour and wait for Lukaku and Mkhitaryan if he comes in for Barella. Barella is good, I would say. Zolanolu is also good. Brozovic, yeah, I mean you can put Brozovic out and get Mkhitaryan. Does Gosens play tonight? I mean, does he has his enough in his leg to bring on the left flank?
No, I think it will be 60 minutes and then Di Marco, or Di Marco 60 minutes and then Gosens. They will do half and half.
Because Bastoni, you can't change Bastoni. You can't change if Skriniar plays. I mean, I don't know. His uh, his experience, of course. He's going to
Yes.
leave Inter. He's going to leave Inter. It's given that he's moving out. It can be his last game in blue. So we don't know if he turns up on
It
the
could be
occasion.
Bastoni's last game too. I mean, he has been linked to Tottenham and all. And I think it might be like, what do you think, Marco? Like, do you think that if there's that, pressure of playing their last game or if, they would want to go give it back to the club before they play their last matches?
Um, I really don't know. He's been out for a very long time, injured, and from what I know, as Inter supporters in Milan, we didn't like the way he behaved, dealing with the contract and then not dealing with the contract. That was not nice. So I don't know honestly if he still has this fire inside. Like I said before, we need players with a fire inside, and Inzaghi knows it because he sees it every day on the training camp. So I think that he will use him if he knows that he has this fire inside, and if he thinks that he lost a bit of fire and to him it's just the last match, then he will keep him out and maybe he will put it in case that somebody gets injured. One thing, if I can, about Lukaku. From the way I've seen him play, I think he gives you the best when, at least in Champions League in Europe, he gives you the best when not everything is on his shoulder. So entering in the second half, I think it's a good thing for him because he feels like he can break the defense and he can run. But when you have a long match against Manchester City and you never get the ball, you can be frustrated, and he shows a lot of frustration in those situations.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I go to Karan bhai for the predictions and after that Marco, I have a question from you, man. So do you think like we have been talking about Inter containing Man City for the first 60-70 minutes, but do you think it would be a right approach for Inter to go all out as they did in the first leg against AC Milan and really stamp their authority, take that risk? or do you think it would be a wise move to just play conservative and just wait for the counters and just contain the City team for the first 60-70 minutes only?
So I don't think that it was the plan to go all out against AC Milan. We just started playing and we saw that their legs were soft, and so we took courage and we attacked them. I don't think it was the original plan. And I think maybe for the first few minutes we can try to surprise them at the very beginning, just attack flat out, but then come back. We know that the match is long. We know that even if we go 1-0, we can always score. If we go 0-1, we can always score a goal because it's possible to score to Man City. It's always possible. It's actually not that difficult. So I think that we need to play with a lot of patience. Not only defensive, we need to keep the ball at times. We need to be clever. We need to keep the ball when it's important, leave the ball, and be concentrated when it's time for them to attack. So yeah, this is how I see it. We will counterattack. It's Italian DNA to counterattack, and we know how to do it. But we need to, I think, Napoleon, the great general, once they asked him, how can you be such a great tactician and prepare all these battles and win? And he said, I don't prepare anything. We start and then we see. And that was Napoleon. So I think we can follow that.
And Marco, I have one question about De Bruyne. Since we talked about, of course, Inter's midfield, I just want to touch upon this guy and how you think, not the midfielders, but Inzaghi would have a plan. Will he have something in his mind to stop De Bruyne from getting into his A game that I am always afraid of as an United?
I think for me, if you ask me as a football fan, Manchester City, if I wish to have one player from Man City, that's De Bruyne. Keep Haaland, keep Stones, keep Gundogan. I want De Bruyne. He's fantastic, and I don't think you can stop him. I don't think there is a way to stop him. But there is a way to control him, to give him as less space as possible, to give him 4 or 5 shots, no more than that. If you give him 10, you lost. But if you can limit him a little bit, then you can keep a chance. I think there will be a cage around him, maybe 3-4 players, not attacking him directly, but always around him, closing the opportunities. And but that's the problem with Man City. You need to put 3 or 4 against De Bruyne, 3 or 4 against Gundogan, 3 or 4 against Mahrez, and you already finished your players, and then they still have Grealish and Haaland and Rodri. They never finish. So Bernardo Silva.
You forgot Haaland. You forgot Haaland.
Yeah, maybe if we play with 20 players, it's more fair. But
I was just imagining when you were, talking, Marco, that, midfielder Barella and Kevin De Bruyne, and I was thinking that, that midfield would rule anywhere across Europe, the world, anywhere for that matter.
Yes, it's I am really, like I said, we will see. Everything is open, and this is beautiful. Honestly, this is what I like about football. You don't start losing, and you start growing, and you have to build it from here.
Totally. So, Karan bhai, before we wrap this stream up, I'll come to you here. So, what do you think? What is the prediction for tonight, and who do you think will be the scorers?
Oh man, scorers! Wow, I don't know. I'm suspecting some unusual scorers on the score sheet because Champions League has has this history of throwing up surprises, especially finals. So I won't be surprised if John Stone scores on a header, or for that matter, Bastoni scores on a header. I'm expecting one goal from either team, from their centre backs. A and B, another. Apart from that, I'm thinking Lukaku, if he comes in, he's gonna score. And on the other hand, I'm afraid, but Grealish might just turn up his game tonight. because he'll have a lot of opportunity to go shoot. Considering that on the right flank you have not so good defenders, right? Like as we
Yes.
discussed, probably Dumfries. So he might have his chance.
Fair enough. So, Marco, what do you think, man?
What I hope is that we win on penalties. What I
Hmm.
think is maybe 3-1 City.
3-1. No, but penalties remind me of something, Marco. We discussed like the last time I remember Italian team and English team were in finals. Like, I mean, I don't know. There might be some other time, but I remember Liverpool and AC Milan, where
Yeah.
the game went into the penalties and Liverpool won. Anukarsh,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, 2005.
Liverpool penalties. Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Liverpool were
so
3-0 down at halftime, 3-all, and then, Liverpool went on to win that.
So that's
So,
like, can it be, City again, revisiting the history, or it can be Italy's time to, take the revenge and penalties again after like 18 years, 17 years?
well, that would set up for a unique and really mouth-watering sort of a tie. For me, I personally feel that it's going to be Lautaro with the winner, and I just expect a 1-0 sort of a scoreline. But that's a bold prediction from my side. So, guys, thank you, Karan, and thank you, Margo, for joining us. I hope we can, next season also we can talk about these big UCL matches, and maybe Inter can be another UCL final after winning this one. That's the hope, and I am sure all three of us are waiting for a Inter win because none of us are Man City fans, and in fact, the very much opposite of that. So, guys, whatever you think, write that down in the comments below. Please subscribe to the Indie Football Podcast for more of Karan and Marco. Karan here comes up with regular database segments, and they have been one of the better grossing one on our channel. So, thanks for joining in, guys. It was a pleasure having you, and I hope, from a neutral point of view, that Inter win. Thank you, and thanks for joining us again.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Goodbye.